Well, hello Torchwood audio fans, welcome back to another Big Finish Torchwood review. In today's review, I'm going to be taking a look at the latest instalment of the Torchwood Monthly range in Endgame, as written by Tom Black, featuring of course a return of Toshiko Sato, as portrayed by the wonderful Nawako Mori. So this release is of course available to order now on the Big Finish website on both physical CD and digital download. We have a wonderfully talented production team on this one as well. Sean Longmore on the cover art, a lovely, vibrant, eye-catching cover. Lovely to also see the return of Scott Hancock directing this story. The music, the excellent music, as always, composed by Blair Moat. He does some great scores within this episode. Produced by James Goss. Lovely to also see Lauren Mooney script editing this one. She's previously contributed lots of incredible stories to the Torchwood Monthly range, of course, alongside Stuart Pringle. And we also have Toby Highshrek Robinson on this release as well, doing all the buttons and sound design, which is particularly important for this story, and it definitely captures the claustrophobic atmosphere of Endgame. Well, Tom Black has certainly made an entrance into the world of Big Finish with this story. What an intense episode. Torchwood Endgame is a locked room drama, a bunker deep under Whitehall, and a simulation is being ran, which will throw various scenarios at the participants. But as we all know, these scenarios won't be easy. But after all, it's just a simulation, right? Taking part in the simulation, we have Gerard Marsh MP, Minister for the Cabinet Office, Frank Rees MP, Minister of State for Defence and Armed Forces, as well as Jasmine Jennings MP, Minister for State of Aviation. And finally, for alien involvement, Toshiko Sato of Torchwood. So I think it goes without saying, given the cast for this one, we are looking at a political thriller with a sci-fi twist. And this is one of those audio dramas which absolutely gets the adrenaline going. You are very much in the bunker with these characters as the tensions rise, and you can feel the counter ticking down to the ultimate end within this episode. It's a story I recommend dedicating your full attention to, rather than clicking play and pottering around at the same time, unless that's your preferred way to listen to Big Finish. It's an episode to utterly get immersed within. The way these characters riff off one another as their roles are challenged, battling between defence, aviation and the cabinet. The way this narrative unfolds from a collected sense of calm and pointlessness in this activity to high stakes is utterly seamless, and at various points throughout, it's utterly gut-punching. There's lots of jump scares, which I loved. The voice of the simulation itself is so detached and unwavering to all the human challenges going on around it. The entire duration of this story just feels relentless. Now, I don't do running as an activity, but I know there is playlists that you can listen to with very intense, upbeat music to keep pace when you're running along. I imagine this story is a Big Finish audio drama equivalent to that. It's a story that just keeps going, it's relentless, constantly snappy. I just imagine it will be very good to run along to. In the context of this episode, probably running from impending doom with imminent explosions. It's so clear that Tom Black has expertise in this area of writing and drama. The way he explains human analysis paralysis within the behind the scenes, and the psychology behind this tale, and the role of parabolic theatre. It feels like such a treat to be able to listen to a story like this within the Torchwood genre. I feel like he has personally brought something to the table to introduce to Torchwood, and it fits the whole style of this era so well. It's one of those releases that I will vividly remember because it stimulates the brain, you feel involved in the drama, even though you're not, thankfully. Tom has brought his external theatre expertise, but incorporated that sci-fi Torchwood element into this episode, which naturally brings with it far greater stakes than humanity themselves can muster. Who needs scary politicians with lots of decisions at their disposal when you could have aliens? Now, I do not want to touch too deeply on the alien element of this story because I don't want to ruin anything, but you know those Doctor Who episodes that you get where clearly there's more exciting things going on, and an alien is brought into the story to invade, and it's clearly just a cardboard cutout. Not really much thought has gone into developing this species, making them stand out, making them unique. This episode doesn't have to do that, because the environment that we are within is so professional and so official in feel. It feels realistic. realistic, it feels like the high stakes, the environment of the story makes the alien a threat. And again, I think that that is another perfect example of the strengths of this script overall, but also the need for Torchwood to not really focus on aliens. I don't really think of aliens when I think of Torchwood, which is bizarre given that they are an organisation to defend the Earth against aliens. Especially on Big Finish, the Torchwood stories are more about humans and their interaction with alien technology. And I think that's actually a lot more exciting, because when you focus on the aliens, it just starts to get a little bit too Doctor Who-y. In fact, I'd go as far to say that I recommend this type of story to a person who isn't attracted to the audio drama format, over fears of perhaps not focusing on the plot or not being attached to the characters, because it is lacking that visual element. Endgame is a perfect showcase into what audio drama can achieve, and the stakes which it can explore with dramatic consequences. There has been a few occasions recently where I've clicked play on a Big Finish audio drama and I've realised that I've got about 15 minutes in and I have absolutely no idea what's going on. Not because of the production probably, but because of my brain not focusing on the story. I think, and I'm confident in saying, it would be quite impossible to click play on this story and not be immersed and focused within it, because you have such tight-knit group of characters and this very, very simple but effective environment that they've put within. It just hooks you in. I think the MPs which this story centres around are also superbly presented. They manage not to fall into the obvious stereotypes and parody, whilst yes, there is the occasional references here and there to MPs making decisions and things like that, and where funding is going, of course, now that they have this rather technical and snazzy looking room to run this simulation within. But throughout, they must make these rather personal decisions. They feel more human than the stereotypical Whitehall character. And dare I say it, because of that, even though they are MPs, you can somewhat relate to them and some of their struggles, which I never thought I would say, quite frankly. The to and fro between Frank Rees MP and Jared Marsh MP I particularly enjoyed. They are two completely different ends of the political career spectrum. Gerard is younger, more in touch with technology and the current ideas of the modern day. He has charm, probably quite a bit of ego, but also that love for power and snappiness. Frank Rees, meanwhile, is more traditional, his political career clearly steeped in achievement. There's probably no one worth knowing within Parliament and government departments that he doesn't know. He's the type of character that everyone within government will know. He locks horns with Gerard multiple times, and I thoroughly enjoyed hearing the effects of this play out, especially when various simulations are thrown at them. Jasmine Jennings MP, meanwhile, is clearly more thoughtful, realistic, but gets the job done. She has this brutal, sacrificial persona, and like quite a lot of MPs, loves to throw people under the bus, left, right and centre. Which again, this story very much takes that to the extreme, which I love. This whole setup too is absolutely perfect for a tech-savvy Toshiko. I think she often fades into the background, she lets these MPs take centre stage, but when she needs to step forward, she absolutely does. She's this calm, collected figure, but she's absolutely always on it. I absolutely love how Noako delivers this. Because her story is 100% within a locked room, we don't get as such character development from a life and timeline side of things, which I know people tend to like character-driven stories and that emotional element, but what we are treated to within this episode is Tosh handling a very difficult situation, or trying to handle a very difficult situation. And Noako showcases all of the strengths of Tosh's character, basically within a 50-minute duration. It is a brilliant showcase of how great Tosh is within the audio form. And to be honest, I've not listened to all of the Tosh stories within audio, but every time I do, I get that sense of wanting to go back and listen to the previous stories. I've been meaning to listen to the one with the octopus tentacles on the front for quite a while, and I might just do that. And for fans of timelines, the simulation is partially run in London within this story, and there is no mention to Torchwood 1 operations in Canary Wharf, which, given their power and authority and the context of this story, there would highly likely be reference to them. So that places this episode within the events of Torchwood TV era Series 1, because there is references to Torchwood 3, but no mention to Canary Wharf, so therefore this episode is post-Battle of Canary Wharf. Rather than, which I did go into this story presuming for some reason that perhaps this episode might be pre-Series 1, so Jack, Owen, Tosh, Yanto, and of course Key Costello, which Big Finish have touched upon that era a few times in the past, so maybe that's why I assumed it, but no, I'm imagining this episode as deep Series 1, and I think it fits rather well into that. So there we go. I really loved Torchwood Endgame. It's a bit of a different story to what we're used to with the recent monthly range installments, but I think I loved it even more for that. It is a high-stakes political thriller with that sci-fi element thrown in there as well. And the very weird thing is I think that Tom Black is clearly a very talented writer, and the way that he hooked me into this story as an audience member, as a listener, I think is incredibly skilled. I'd love to hear more from him in the future, but then again, I'd also love to not hear anything else from him in the future as well. I think that it's clear that he's brought something very personal to this story and a skill set of which that he knows, an area that he has experience in, and I'm more than happy for him to basically drop this gem into the Big Finish catalogue and then walk away into the sunset, because he's done a very good job. I'm very impressed, and he doesn't need to prove anything else to me. I think it's fine leaving it at that. But if Tom does want to come back for more in the future, I will be delighted to see his name on another Big Finish script. So this is a great story, and I really do recommend it. This is without a doubt a very strong instalment of the Torchwood Monthly range. If you love Tosh, definitely get this one. If you want something new from your audio drama experience, definitely get this one. And if you just want to get your heart racing a little bit and want to feel involved within a drama, then give this one a go. You don't need to have listened to any previous Torchwood stories to enjoy this release. I will be recommending this release to as many people as possible too. And if you do decide to listen to it, I hope you enjoy it as well, because I felt very involved. So thank you very much for watching this review. I really hope you have enjoyed it. Do of course stay tuned on the Host Productions for regular Big Finish audio drama reviews covering the latest releases. Have a nice day. I shall see you all next time.